So we're going to talk about the top 10 reasons why a buyer might not like your house.
A lot of these things we will tell a seller before we go on the market, and maybe they don't believe us. So then we wait. We wait for the buyer's feedback.
Yeah.
And then when a buyer says it, then obviously, then they're like, okay.
One most people know, and that's clutter. Clutter is interesting because it's easily fixed, but keep in mind if somebody's never been in your home, the first thing you want them to notice is not an issue they're going to be able to fix down the road. You want them to have an immediate pleasant experience when they come through.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard for a buyer to focus on the home if you haven't cleaned up.
Yeah, bottom line.
I mean, if they walk into your bedroom and you have dirty laundry everywhere, well, that's the only thing they're going to see, unless they have a really good imagination. But it's just better to declutter your home before you get it on the market, and keep it that way the whole time you're listed, and make it look like you don't live there.
Not only that, but it is one of the least expensive things you could possibly do to improve how your home looks.
Right.
It really doesn't cost much. We've had some clients that have even gotten storage units for like $100 a month that I am convinced has increased the value of their home by thousands of dollars.
Yeah. What's another one?
Odor.
Yeah.
I can't smell anything, so that one doesn't bother me
yes,
too
you
much.
can. We live in our houses, obviously, all day long, every day. You might not smell something because you're there all the time. But if your agent walks in and says, you need to clean up the dog smell or the cat box or open some windows or bake some cookies, you know?
Yeah.
You need to listen to them because they are trying to politely tell you that it kind of doesn't smell too good in your house. So odor is big for buyers. If they walk into a home and say, for example, they smell cigarette smoke, I mean, all they can think about is like, I'm going to have to completely repaint this house. I'm going to have to change all the flooring just to get rid of that smell. So odor is huge.
Outdated decor. In my opinion, if decor, and I'll just give a scenario. Oftentimes we get people who have lived in a home for a long period of time, and they're going to buy all new furniture when they buy their new home because they know their decor is dated. As much of that as you can remove from the house prior to going on the market.
And also, I mean, that's when it might be a good idea to have a stager come in, and they can even just use your own furniture and maybe add a few things here or there to make it a little more updated.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's things, you know, maybe you don't want to change, like, you know, your cabinets, or, I mean, obviously then you're going to get expensive, but if you kind of change a few things here and there, maybe move a couch a different way or whatever,
or coverings.
You know, or couch coverings, or, but not plastic ones.
Yeah.
What else? Natural light. Lack of natural light is a big one. And sometimes you can't change that. It can be really tough. Whenever you're going to show the home, always open all your blinds, turn on all your lights, that sort of thing.
Light is, I almost think like window coverings need to come down because even if they're on the lighter side, they're still going to soak up a lot of the light that comes in. So I think adding some extra mirrors on the walls on the opposite side.
Painting lighter colors helps too. I mean, our buyers just closed on a home. I just saw a video they posted. The house was super dark when they bought it, and they painted. Oh my gosh, it like completely changed the vibe. All right, what else? Poor conditions.
Holes in the wall, damage, dog chewed up a bunch of drywall. You had a water leak at some point, weren't able to fix flooring, termite damage. That's going to go a little bit further than just what a buyer sees aesthetically. That's going to limit you with the type of loan you can get oftentimes, which is going to minimize your buyer pool, which is most likely going to impact your sales price. So there are a lot of services out there now where you can have some money invested in your home to fix some of those things at no cost, and you pay through closing.
If a buyer comes through and they're looking around and, you know, they're outside and they see wood rot, they're automatically going to go, what else is wrong with this house? I don't want to deal with this. It's going to be a headache. And then they move on. So all of those little things that you might not think are a big deal, like wood rot or, you know, a stain on the ceiling from an old leak that's not leaking anymore, like those are things that you need to have fixed before, I think, going on the market.
Curb appeal.
Curb appeal, yes.
Poor curb. Everybody likes nice curb appeal, so we don't need to talk about that. But let's talk about
poor curb appeal.
Poor curb appeal.
If first impressions are everything, so if a buyer pulls up and your lawn is dead or is not mowed, and the trim on your house is chipping away, like, or your garage door is dented, and the first thing they're going to think of is, cha-ching, like, how much is this going to cost me when I buy this house? Now I've got to paint the trim, I've got to repaint the whole outside of the house, I have to hire a gardener to clean this mess up. Already, before they walk through the door, they're thinking, how much money am I going to have to spend after I buy this house?
Yeah. And, you know, most buyers, they do math in their head as they're looking at photos. Like, gonna have to paint. Gonna need carpet in the bedroom. So if a buyer can't even get through the front door before they've added up thousands of dollars worth of work, right off the bat, they're going to offer you quite a bit less than your house is probably worth.
Another unfortunate one, and this one's kind of tough because it's not really in your control, but your neighbors. Like, if you've got neighbors that are hoarders, or they have like 50 million cars out front, or they just don't care about what their house looks like, I hate to say it, but it will affect buyers coming in. I mean, I've been in a house with a buyer and we're looking around, the house is amazing, and they look outside the window at the neighbors and they're like, oh, holy cow, no, we're not living here.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. Do you think there's any way you can fix that?
Well, I think number one, it's something you just have to be aware of when you're buying. Mm-hmm. So not just getting infatuated with the house online or when you show up, but being aware of the surroundings. Yeah. It's not as much of an issue in areas where there's an association, but you know, a lot of people don't want to deal with an HOA, and I think it's just something you have to kind of be aware of when you're kind of house hunting. And the other thing I'd say, and not to like cause issues for neighbors, but you know, if you live in a home for years and it's an ongoing issue with a neighbor, you might want to call the county, you might want to call the city, if they're not upkeeping the property, because, you know, I've seen instances where homeowners have been able to get neighboring homes cleaned up with enough pressure with like code enforcement.
Yeah. Next one would be layout, unusual layouts. This is also a tough one because it's not like you can exactly change the layout of your home. I mean, sometimes you can knock a wall out or something, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, just know if it's an unconventional floor plan, your buyer pool is going to be limited. Mm-hmm. Anytime that's limited, you're just, odds are you're probably going to get a little bit less than the neighbors. That being said, if you find a floor plan that's a little unusual, like what we were talking about here, there were a lot of ideas we had where it could be fixed. Mm-hmm. Those are probably worth it. Even if it works for you while you're there, you might want to have a plan at some point to remove a wall, or maybe even add a wall and add, you know, take a large room and build out a bedroom and an extra living space, whatever it might be. But yeah, just keep that in mind. If you're buying something that seems a little unconventional, you're going to have a limited buyer pool.
Small, cramped rooms.
Yeah.
What can they do about that?
That's a huge issue.
A lot of times I see oversized furniture.
Yes.
And like I get, because we have, you know, there's 5 of us in our house, but we don't have a super big living space, so we have to have a smaller couch. And I get that for personal living, but when you're going to sell your home, you need to make sure that the furniture you have is the right size for each room. So another thing is location. Not only is it important in like the proximity to like the freeway, shopping, but like, is your home on a busy street, or does it back up to a busy street? People don't want road noise, and if you have road noise, you're gonna have to subtract like 10 grand from your asking price.
The other thing with location too is it will just completely rule some people out. And I would say this because when we were house hunting in Tennessee, not really knowing like the area and the layout, you know, it was like you see one house, you go to the next house, you're like 5 houses into the day, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I love this house, but you don't realize that you're getting 1 mile, 2 mile, 5 miles from the freeway. And being that we fly a lot, we found a house we liked, but when we went on Google Maps, it was like, oh crap, we're 20 minutes from the freeway.
Yeah.
just to get to the freeway because we had just driven further. So be aware when you're out looking. If you know you have a certain drive time you're willing to deal with, pay attention to that too at the location, because if that is a big deal to you, it's going to be a big deal to somebody else. And location is one of the things that you can't fix.
Right.
You can't add a view.
No.
You can't move the lot.
Unless you live in an RV.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, those are our top 10 reasons why a buyer might not like your home.
Add one more thought as we sign off on these 10 items is I think it's important when you're buying a house, even though you're just getting into the process of going under contract and moving in, you still have to look at it like odds are you might be there for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Even if you're there for 20 or 30, at some point you're probably going to move. So pay attention to those things.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get buyers to think about, okay, but what if you're going to, when you go to resell, this is going to be a problem. Like, a lot of people, if they don't have kids, they might move into an area where, you know, a less desirable school district. But when you go to resell, you have to keep that in mind. Like, you're going to have a smaller buyer pool when you're going to sell.
Yeah.
So just things to consider
Yep.
before moving or buying a house or selling your house.
Hope those help.